Become a premium member on RealCatholicTV.com today. Not only will you learn about the one true faith, just think of all the new friends you'll make. When the saints go marching in.
Hello everyone and welcome to The Vortex, where lies and falsehoods are trapped and exposed. I'm Michael Voris. Time once again for the latest edition of Crisis Update. As some people know, and many don't, the church is in a cataclysm of chaos right now. It's because the word crisis has gotten to the point of seeming almost trite. Faithful Catholics have sat around and wondered and ruminated for decades now when various church leaders would begin to face the reality of the disaster the church is in. Well, on some level at least, that appears to be happening. There is more and more public talk among and from the bishops these days that they aren't so good at the old ranch these days, got to do some fixing of things. Those realities have come crashing home as nearly every bishop in the United States has had to deal with closing parishes and massive financial struggles from a Catholic population less and less inclined to attend weekly Mass and throw something in the collection plate. It seems that news of the lived disaster in the pews has finally broken through up there and reached the ears of leaders. In one instance, the Bishop of Camden, New Jersey, Joseph Galante, actually had a poll commissioned by the well-respected polling agency Barna to measure attitudes and Catholicity among the sheep in his diocese. Good for him. He was stunned by what he got back on his desk. The poll revealed that 60%, 3 out of every 5 Catholics in his diocese, get this, believe that Jesus Christ sinned. 60%. And as that reality hit home to the bishop and his staff and other leaders and people in leadership roles in the diocese, they began wondering out loud what they could do. Good for them. And here's an area, however, where a whole new set of problems could easily come in, where the cure could actually be worse than the disease. Now, it's taken decades for church leadership to begin to even admit that there are serious problems in the church, and only then, mostly in whispers. Now that that cat is practically out of the bag, a whole new problem has the potential to arise, that the illusion will be created that the problem has been recognized and is being addressed with a great solution, when in fact the solution will accomplish nothing. What potential solution is developed depends entirely upon the philosophical approach that the fixers to the problem take. A comment made by Bishop Galante is illustrative. He said, in referencing to getting Catholics back to Mass each week, more Catholics, he said, quote, "Fear is not a teaching tool. It's going to take a lot of time and effort, but we need to get people to go to Mass because they want to, not because there is a sword hanging over them. We have to be more inviting, more welcoming, and more hospitable," end quote. With all due respect, that carries with it the potential to signal trouble down the road. Of course, the motive for going to Mass can't be primarily fear. No sane Catholic would ever propose that. But to simply avoid the issue that there are spiritual consequences, really bad ones, for not going to Mass is to preach something incomplete. Our blessed Lord himself preached continually on the very real dangers of hell. It's the reason he came to earth. Hell and its reality must be preached about. No one in the church, pope, bishops, priests, or laity, get to brush that off and treat it lightly or dismissively. But it was the second part of the bishop's comments that others in the diocese seconded and then expanded on that were just as worrisome, in some cases more. The part about being more inviting and welcoming. One diocesan official went so far as to say we need to figure out what it is that people want at church and give them that. Excuse me? But isn't the combination of that exact approach coupled with the ignoring of hell the very reason we're in the disaster we're in today? How much more welcoming could the church be and accommodating in giving people what they want? We've heard next to nothing from leaders for almost 50 years about any sexual sin whatsoever, any dogma, any mention of the real presence of our blessed Lord in the Blessed Sacrament. In short, practically every hard saying in the church has been compromised or ignored. In place of them, we have every abuse you could imagine to accommodate the needs of every person in practically any possible scenario. The abuses range from the sanctuary to the confessional to private counsel. Frankly, we bet leaders will sit around and wonder exactly how they could be more welcoming, just short of handing over the keys to the parish and asking the laity to just finish the job and rewrite all the church's teachings anyway. The church's problem today is not figuring out how to be more welcoming, but how to be less welcoming. Less welcoming to heresy and dissidence and heterodoxy and accommodation and political correctness and cowardice. The goal is to get each person to become holier so that they die in a state of grace and avoid hell and go to heaven. You do not do that with poles and hospitality ladies in the back of the church offering cupcakes. That is the hard business, and it requires an honest, straightforward message that says, yes, and this does include the reality of eternal separation from God. Now that it seems more and more in the church are recognizing that a problem actually does exist, let's just hope and pray that the solution decided on accomplishes the goal. God love you. I'm Michael Voris.